And to our first conversation now, the reports the cash crunch is beginning to ease as banks disburse cash. Some have identified winners and losers in the whole narrow design policy. But let's see where the POS operators are in the scheme of things. POS charges coming back down. Join us now is Mr. Victor Olojo, National President, Association of Mobile Money Bank and Agents in Nigeria. Great to have you on that side in Abuja. Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here this morning.
Yeah, so some have said the narrow design policy and the consequent, cash crunch effectively ended business for POS operators. But we do know, some operators were charging a hefty sum, to get cash. But how is it looking now?
Yes, in addressing this, let me just quickly say that it's been a very unfortunate trend of incidents in the past 2-3 months in Nigeria. Just before the election, agents were actually forced to live with the conditions, created by the policies of the CBN. We tried our best to continue to serve Nigerians in very difficult circumstances. We're happy that the Supreme Court intervened and things are a lot better now. Gradually, cash is beginning to come into circulation, and these charges are beginning to come back to normal. So again, let me use this opportunity to apologize to Nigerians who really felt bad about the issues regarding them accessing cash through POS agents. As a matter of fact, it is the reality that we find ourselves in Nigeria. And every agent out there was going out of their way to just help Nigerians, find a way through the old cash crunch and all of that.
But are the agents, the POS agents, are they getting cash better at this time? Or how good is it?
Well, at this time, we are still faced with a lot of challenges. We are still finding it difficult to access cash. If you go through the banks in Lagos and Abuja, you still find a lot of crowd in front of banks and there's still limits to what you can get. As a matter of fact, agents are supposed to have some kind of distinct or special recognitions when you get into the bank. We are yet to see all of those. But what is actually helping matter is that the cash is now coming into circulation, and we're able to get cash in alternative areas outside bank, so marketplaces, gas stations, and all of that. So that way we're also able to help mob cash and recirculate to Nigerians who need these funds.
Let's look at the POS business now. Do people still find it, lucrative at this point? Or how do you think the cash crunch issue, will shape the industry going forward?
Like many other sectors in the country, ours was badly hit. POS, over 80% of POS businesses were practically out of business. Many, in thousands, hundreds of thousands, are still yet to find their way back, their feet back to business. It's been terribly difficult. Before now, just before this whole issue, the statistics out there, we had over 1.5 million POS agents. And with the old issue policy and all of that of the CBN, virtually 90–80% of agents were out of business. Those who were still in business were those who probably still had some kind of access to cash from filling stations and all of that. Just recently, the CBN has also released an exposure draft for agency banking in Nigeria. And, we've highlighted some issues around. It's still an exposure draft. And we hope that they'll be able to look into this to help revitalize the sector and help many jobless Nigerians get back to job.
Talking about the exposure, draft now, you did mention, some concerns with some of the content there. Can you itemize them for me?
Yeah, so there are very fundamental clauses there. That is moving us from very familiar to unfamiliar terrain. I mean, one major one, before now, it's been a doctrine of exclusivity, by the CBN. Well, I must commend the CBN also for coming out with this. It's a good one because the market to the POS industry has been largely unregulated. So we're happy to see this, an association of mobile money and bank agents being the prominent association for POS operations in Nigeria. We have actually raised the concern. One major one is that we are moving from non-exclusivity to exclusivity. What that means is very simple in clear terms, is that before now, an agent was free to work with as many operators, super agents, PSBs, as you wish, And now the new exposure draft is actually stating that an agent can only work with one operator per time, be it bank, super agent, PSB or anything. And we felt that that comes with its own shortcomings, because not all of these operators actually carry out all of the same functions. And if indeed we are driving financial inclusion, I think we need to look into that. That's one. Two, it is that it would in some way affect the operators themselves, because naturally, if agents are to choose the operators, because it's a free market, if agents are to choose the operator they want to work with, they will naturally tilt towards the one that suits them best. And other guys who are trying to struggle or get their hold in the market would, right now what happens is that A, B, and C can come market to me and I can work with A, B, and C, but for reasons of monitoring, supervision, and we've consistently told the CBN that Armband can do this thing. We already self-regulate ourselves. All we need to do is just work closely with the CBN to ensure that issues of high prices by agents, monitoring, supervision, we're on ground. We send quarterly reports to the CBN and get things done. We're working with virtually all the CBN branches across the country. We have fiscal meetings. We meet with the bankers committee. So all we are clamoring for is just better synergy to serve Nigerians. And I tell you, it's going to be a smooth ride all the way if this is implemented.
Yeah, I'm talking about, self-regulation and, POS tariffs, going up and down at this time. Where do you see, POS tariffs in the second quarter, if this cash crunch continues?
Wow, I want to remain optimistic. I want to believe that this trend will continue. There will be continuity in terms of release of cash to Nigerians, to the Nigerian public. But if it remains that the CBN actually would still stifle the release of funds, then there will be some kind of concern about the prices. And part of what is also in the framework is to see how there can be a fixed price. And part of what we are saying as an association is that there needs to be a roundtable discussion around that, because there's also an element called cost to serve. The cost to serve in Damaturu is different from Lagos and Abuja. So what we're advocating is to have a price cap. For both minimum, don't charge below this, don't charge above this, for different price range and tickets. And that way, the good about this also is that more Nigerians have actually embraced technology. Many of the microfinance and digital microfinance, the fintechs, have been able to get a whole lot of direct customers who have downloaded these apps and are embracing. And I'm happy that the CBN has also made clarification as to the categories of what these operators are and all of that, just for clarification. And Nigerians can know that their funds are safe with these operators.
And talking about the fintechs now, how helpful has that industry been for your operators?
Oh, it's been amazing. Many Nigerians have come to tag many of these fintechs as life-saving, lifesavers, during the issue of the cash crunch 3-4 weeks ago, many banks had issues accessing your mobile app and all of that. But kudos to the great fintech, the guys, and thanks to the CBN for creating an enabling environment. Many of those fintechs were able to come in play. We have high demand by merchants today for POS terminals. The demand is amazing. many supermarkets. As a matter of fact, if you're operating a supermarket, grocery store, I mean, you need POS. And you'd realize that it's now a thing of strength. Many of those guys are now focused on using the POS provided by the fintechs compared to POS provided by the banks. You can go and research. And what this just clearly shows is that it's better or best to play in your area of strength. The fintechs have gotten it right. The MMOs, the likes of the core guys playing in industry. I wouldn't want to mention any name, but we know them. I mean, many of these major supermarkets are beginning to embrace, and just for one reason. I mean, it's very easy, very flexible. You're able to confirm your transactions immediately. As a matter of fact, a number of them have also introduced technology that enables you either accept or reject transfers coming into their terminals or into their account. So all of these are things that Nigerians appreciate. It makes the ease of doing business amazing for people who are ready to do business.
And I'm pretty sure, you know, some of these fintech platforms also felt the pressure, because I saw, you know, some of them, their platforms actually went down, you know, this period too. They couldn't handle, you know, some of that, all those transactions coming in, you know, for the fintech platforms. But they did, you know, serve their purpose. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Victor Lojo, President, Association of Mobile Money and Bank Agents in Nigeria. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
All right, so we're talking how the POS tariffs are looking at this time, and he's optimistic that they're going to come down, you know, at some point in the